for all this through my doctors, and they basically saved my life. And even with not having work, it makes it very difficult because you can only pay things piecemeal because you're waiting for that money to come in. So I was looking back at my timeline, and my doctor had shut down his practice, doctor, in October of 2024, and they had sent us a list of doctors to contact. So when I was contacting doctors, there was nobody available, and I was thinking, what am I going to do? Because it's so hard to find a family doctor. And even there's a clinic here across the road. They had a message saying they were taking patients in, but when I called, they said, oh, that message is outdated, we're not taking anyone. So then they sent me all the records. I had to pay for that. They sent me all my medical history, and I had to save that and then just keep calling. So I found a clinic close to home. It's at Young and Eglinton. It's actually close to the offices I used to work at. And I found my new doctor there, and I got my first appointment with him November the 7th of 2024. And that's when I found out about my high blood pressure, and it came as a shock to me. So I've been taking the medication since then, but I do have to stay on it. I think that my doctor also said once you get a permanent job and you have an income coming in, a lot of this tension will ease, because right now there's the added pressure of unemployment. There was the pressure first in the call center, and it's a very high pressure environment, and then you're dealing with people who are upset, who are abusing you, and you can't say anything back. So your body is just absorbing all of that, and there's no outlet for it. So it took about, I would say about 2 weeks for the medication to start working. And then I went back for my annual, and that's when I discovered that I have this kidney problem on top of that, which shocked me, because it's not like I was drinking every day or I had problems. I wasn't waking up in pain. I didn't have pain in my kidneys. So that was an additional shock to my system. But it just is a range of things, because it's decades of unemployment, sporadic work, and then also dealing with having to cope with no income. That was an additional stress. So then he said to me, you might not have done anything wrong at all. It might just be hereditary. And the fact that you've been under stress probably added to it. So I had to then change my diet over the last year. And I'm somebody that likes starchy foods. I like to eat things like almond croissants and crisps and rice and pasta. So that's when I got that food guide from Amazon about low carb foods, and making that adjustment is also not easy, because fresh fruits and fresh vegetables and all that, it costs, because you can't keep it for too long. If you're buying things fresh, you have to use them by a certain date, otherwise they go off. And yes, it's good you can get frozen vegetables and fruits, but they don't have the same nutrients. So that was another adjustment I had to go through. And then when I went to have my blood work done, he said to me, your potassium levels are too high. I said, oh, I really don't know what is going on, because it's not like I'm doing anything different to what I've always done. Then I had to go the next day and get another blood test, and then that one came back normal. So I'm like, I really don't know. But like being told that your body is functioning like a 90-year-old, that is not a good thing. And a lot of it is stress. I mean, my age, I looked a lot older than I was. My hair grayed. And also when you're facing everything alone, it's very difficult. when you're going home to someone, you have someone to talk to, you have human contact. It makes the experience a lot easier. At least I have the church, but you can't do everything through the church. And going out costs money. So it's been a very isolating experience in that way. But by God's grace, I have pulled through it. And so now over here in Canada, they used to do the mammograms every 5 years. Now it has to be done every 2 years. And I don't like doing it. It's very painful because they have to put your breast onto, it's like a flat plate, and you have to strip from the head to your waist. And then they pull your breast, they push it, and then there's this machine that comes down on it and takes a x-ray. I hate doing it. So I hope that comes back clear. But it's all these things that you have to adjust to. And for me, I'm just grateful that God sent me a doctor in time. I found the doctor. I'm grateful for the support that I had through the medical community, and that I was able to get the medication. And yes, things are hard financially, but I have every confidence that God is going to open that right door for me. And the 2 years at home, I didn't let it go to waste. I had support from HRPA to renew my dues at a reduced rate. And so I was able to take advantage of that because I basically had no income coming in. So I couldn't afford to pay the $500, $600 to renew my dues. And I like to pay it because with those professional dues, I get access to ongoing learning and training. I get access to networking events. I get access to jobs that are advertised through them. So I had that support as well. And then also I had to turn to food banks because things got so bad for me, I couldn't even afford food. And every time I called churches, I called organizations, they just kept saying no, or they wouldn't get back to me. So then I contacted the CEO of the Daily Bread Food Bank on their social media page, and he helped me to connect with one of the local agencies, and they delivered that food for that 1 month. So it's been very, very hard and very, very difficult. And that's why when I get messages like that, those stupid text messages, I get very angry because instead of people seeing it as somebody who's persevered, who's overcome, who's faced challenges, who's upgrading their skills, they're putting me down and using slur words on me and being derogatory. And I really don't need that on top of everything else that I've had to deal with. So that's why I sent it to as many people as I could, millions of people, because I'm sure I'm not the only one going through it. And on top of that, we've had thefts in the condo this last year. We never ever had thefts in the condo. And that was scary for us as well because of the reports that we're watching of what's happening with these home invasions and people coming home and finding people in their apartments or going on holiday and coming home and finding their balcony doors open. And not the balconies are all on the other side where they're getting targeted, not on this side. So it's pretty scary to deal with all that pressure, all that tension, and to be able to say that I came through it by God's grace. It's huge. So I'm grateful to the Lord. I'm grateful to the doctors for supporting me through it. And yes, there's times I had to miss my kidney medication because I couldn't afford the medication. So I had to choose, am I going to get my high blood pressure medication or am I going to get my kidney medication? And obviously I'm going to take the high blood pressure medication because that's more important to stabilize my heart and to stabilize my organs. But I got the medication now, so I can continue taking it. And it's another adjustment, because if you're not used to taking tablets every day, it's an adjustment. You have to get used to taking the tablets, get used to being in a routine. So all of these things have been big adjustments for me, and I'm grateful that I had support along the way. The doctors are very good, and the kidney medication is more preventative than anything else. And I did consult with my old doctor. He made himself available because I was panicking. And he told me, don't worry too much, because your range is normal. If he's recommending that you take this medication, then take it. But he said for your age and where you are going to see a steady deterioration. And he gave me the ratios and where I could look up the information. So I was grateful to Dr. Ng for that, because he still had the practice open for a little bit. And so, yeah, it's just that I was panicking when I got that news. I was like, how is this even possible? So I used all of my tools. I did use my essential oils. I used my breathing, my medication. Prayer has always been part of it. And also journaling. Journaling is a way to relieve stress. So I use my journaling as well. And by God's grace, with the support I've had, I'm able to say that I'm still here. It's 3 years later. So I do hope that I get a full-time job, because that would alleviate a lot of the stress and a lot of this pressure, especially financially. And 3 years is a long time. It's a long time to be applying for jobs daily, looking for work, not just here, but I've applied in England, I've applied in Australia, I've applied in Ireland, I've applied everywhere and anywhere that I can. So I pray that that falls into place for me. And I have had some work coming in. I haven't been just sitting at home. I did have work for the elections, and I did that successfully. I got paid for that. I also had receptionist work last month and this month. It was just for a day, but again, it's not something I was doing. I was working in a call center, so although I was used to answering calls, fielding the calls and setting up events, doing some of those administrative functions, it's a different area. So I'm glad that I was able to make that transition. And I did have support and training on the job where I worked. They didn't expect me to just come in and do the job. They gave me a few hours where they sat with me. They explained the processes, the procedures, and showed me how to use their switchboard. A lot of it is electronic now. It's not even a physical phone. So that helped as well. So I'm grateful for the supports, and also being able to stay in my condo, because when you're not working, it's virtually impossible to find somewhere to stay, because people want you to have a job. They want you to have proof of income. They want to show that, you have stability. At least I have had stability, because I worked at Teleperformance a long, long time. But again, I was surprised that they didn't keep me on the team. At the same time, it opens up opportunities for me to explore new things, new opportunities. And a lot of the executive assistant roles now are partnerships. You're not just supporting, you're also there to guide, to advise, to take control of things. So it's good for me, because that's what I've had to do in a lot of the work that I've had since 2007 to now. And I'm praying that by God's grace, I will have another miracle. Saving of my life is a miracle in itself, but I will have another miracle where I will be able to secure good full-time employment with a good salary. And most of the jobs now are paying over 75,000 for knowledge workers. Most of them that I've seen in the trades, in corporate roles, in non-profits, they're paying 75,000 and above. So that's what I'm hoping for myself as well. And I'm grateful for the doctors, for their support and for their help. And Dr. Wood is also very, very good. He's at Mount Pleasant Clinic, and they have a team. They work as a team, the doctors there. So I'm grateful to him. And I took a course on diabetes when I got the results. I signed up for that here in Canada. I also signed up with the British Heart Foundation to get updates from them. So I get their newsletter and I read up on that. I do a lot of work on my own to keep myself healthy. And also losing weight is not easy. If your body's under stress, your body tends to hold on to that weight. So I'm not losing the weight as fast as I would like. But a lot of people have said to me, oh, you've lost so much weight. But I haven't lost as much as I need to. And I'll get there. I'm not where I want to be, but I have lost weight. So that's also a big benefit because it helps the doctors who are looking after me as well. And it helps put less pressure on your kidneys, your heart. And I use all the amenities where I am to keep healthy. So that's part of the healthy lifestyle. And that's what I wanted to focus on today for giving thanks, and also with my debts, because people have had to be patient with me because it's out of my control, it's my circumstances, and I'm doing everything I can to secure full-time employment. And it doesn't matter to me if it's here or if it's in America or Australia. I'll be quite happy to pick up and to relocate because it's exciting when you start over. You have new opportunities, you meet new people, and so I don't mind picking up and moving. It's nice to have the stability and to live in one place, and I do love Toronto. I wanted to work here, not in Mississauga or outside in the suburbs, and that's why I moved here, because you also have access to transit and it's easier to get around. And I pray for all those people that are on the subways, who are prostitutes, who are drug addicts, because it's scary for me. It's when they come up to you and they start attacking you verbally, or they just standing in front of you exposing themselves and all that. It's scary. So I hope they get the help that they need. And I hope that you too can sit back and look at the last 3 years and count your blessings and see what miracles God has done in your life, and who is put in your life that has helped to support you and been there for you, and that you too can give thanks for that and be grateful for that. And it's good to look at it and to just give thanks to the Lord, because it could have gone the opposite. I could be in a coffin right now and very seriously say that. Because even adjusting to losing Dr. Ing, it was a huge loss for me, because I was with him from the time I came into Canada, from the time I worked at TD, which was in 2003, right up to 2024. That's a long time. He took good care of me, and he was very thorough in his work. And yeah, I'm grateful to God for giving me such good doctors and such loving doctors. It makes a difference. To me, it does. I don't want somebody clinical. I want the doctors that I have, doctors like them.